Cougar Coaches Show here on Mediacom Channel 22, also online, ColumbiaCougars.com. My name is Cosmo with the head coach of both Cougar soccer programs, John Klein. Coach, welcome.
Thank you, Cosmo.
Women off to a nice start at 4-1, the men at 4-2. We'll start with the ladies. If there was any question about the knee of Lori Frew, I think that is out the window through 5 contests. 6 goals, I believe, if the count is correct on my part.
6 goals, a hat trick, have to be 2 or 3 game winners in there, and works harder than anybody on the field, and came off the knee injury, and she was just determined to get back, get healthy, and be ready for this season, and she's done a great job. We just love having her on the field.
I know in her freshman year, she was one of those players, it seemed like almost every time, at some point, she was getting down and dirty and sliding and trying to make a tackle and on the turf, and that didn't ease up the first game back here on the turf. She was doing the exact same thing, and it seems like that she's put that knee injury behind her and is focused on what's ahead.
She certainly has, and I mean, she does it at practice. She just inspires everybody to play harder, digs in deep. I mean, her goals, I think, at least 4 of them are highlight reel goals, and 3 head balls that just other players aren't willing to put their body in that position to make that sacrifice to score the goals. So she's awesome. She leads by example, and we'd love more attacking players to follow in her footsteps. So I think that's what we're searching for, a few other girls to find the net and find the desire to score like she does.
And she got the one, that's all you needed was the 1-0 win over Freed-Hardman. That's a big conference victory on the road to start conference play. Always good to start knocking off AMC opponents.
Yeah, that was really important, and I think she's got the mindset she's going to find the goal every game. And we needed it. I mean, I think our style of soccer, our pressure down at Freed-Hardman was excellent. I would say we were in control of the game, but it's a game that you would love to have seen 3 or 4 goals go in the back of the net. But it only takes 1 to win, and Lori did that for us.
Take us through the rest of that match as far as the way it played out. A 1-0 game, sometimes those are a 2-0 lead. It always seems to be the most kind of scary game, if you will, because one mistake the other way. But it seemed like, at least on the stat line, that the ladies played a pretty solid contest.
No, I mean, we went down there, 6 hours on the bus, but the last time we went down there, we scored 9 goals after 6 hours on the bus. So, I think we'd hoped for something similar. Certainly, we played most of the first half in their half of the field and had some chances. I think they were an improved squad. Goalkeeper was good, made some big saves. I think they were very organized defensively. And then the second half, they found another energy level. But still, I think we continued to create chances and just didn't find the back of the net again. So I think it was a comfortable win. But again, 3 or 4 goals would have made it more comfortable.
Sometimes you see just on paper the 1-0 and you think it's a much closer matchup. Going back to the Missouri Valley match before that tough loss on the road to a good team, talk about the ladies' effort in that contest.
First half, I think they were just very timid and a little bit scared of the opponent, but played with them, actually scored on ourselves in the first half, and it's 1-0 at the halftime. And then we talked, and it's like, girls, you match up well with this team, and let's go out there and just give a better effort and play with some confidence. And they did that, and I think we outplayed Missouri Valley in the second half, had created a bunch of scoring chances, and didn't quite get the tying goal. They scored a late goal, but then Lori Frew comes back with a spectacular headball goal. Still had 6 minutes and still made a fight to tie that game, but just didn't get it. So it was a big match in terms of I think national seeding and national positioning. Had we gotten a result there, we'd be undefeated, and I think being considered for some top 25 rankings. So we'll see. I think the girls are playing at a real high level, and as long as we can continue to find the net, I think we're going to compete very well in the AMC this year.
You mentioned that word confidence. Is that one of the main things that this team, with so many new faces, is trying to kind of find that confidence, find their identity a little bit?
Yeah, I really think it is, and players in different positions, and again, yeah, half of the team are new faces, and not quite understanding maybe what's needed to compete. at the level we want to compete at. And so I think we're just, still just getting our feet wet. It's early in the year, and I think the early season growth is good, and I feel good about where these girls are headed.
William Woods is up next for both teams. Talk a little bit about that rivalry, that matchup. Some familiar faces, obviously, with a lot of local girls on your team. They have a lot of local girls as well, girls that have kind of played with each other or against each other on club teams in the past. Always, and then obviously just the two schools with Columbia College and William Woods. All sports, quite a rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, that should be a big matchup. I think right now, Woods got us in the conference tournament last year, won the conference tournament, and went on to compete in the first round of the national tournament. So I think it's number one and number two in the conference right now, to see who's going to take the first step forward and claim the rights to going on to win this conference. So it's going to be a good matchup. We haven't seen them. I think they've lost a lot of seniors from last year, so I think they got a lot of new faces just like us. So both teams will fight hard. I think it'll be a great crowd on Thursday night here in Columbia, and really looking forward to that matchup.
Who is a couple of players that have surprised you? Maybe you knew they had some skill coming in, and where we sit right now, 5 games in, they've kind of made you put a little star next to their name, maybe when you and Coach Gill sit down and look at tape or discuss things before you meet with the team. Who's been a little stood out to you more?
I think central midfield players have kind of surprised us. Christina Connolly is in her first year out of St. Charles Community College. She's kind of held a steady spot in that holding midfield role. Really clean on the ball, is moving the ball well for us. And then I think another central midfield player, a freshman out of Moberly, Molly Burke, has really stepped in and made some positive contributions. Got a great assist in the Mid-America Nazarene game. Again, to Lori Fru's head. You can't go wrong if you just put it in her direction. But Molly got down the line and played a great ball. So I think those two young players, or new players to the program, have maybe surprised me the most and made the most positive impact as new players.
You start lining up now, the games start coming fast and furious, even more so than I think they have schedule-wise and in conference. Does that change the way you guys line up practices or any of that stuff at all, or is it pretty much the same mindset?
I think it's the same mindset, especially early on, where we know we're going to have some back-to-back matches, and if you would get to the national tournament, you'd have to play back-to-back matches. I think we're training hard every day, not taking it very soft at any point, still working on fitness. I think that's an important part of playing high-pressure soccer. Our depth, still at 19 players on the roster is not tremendous, so I think fitness is always important. So we go out, work hard every day, and I think gradually, we hope that by come mid to late October, we're in our best condition and playing our best soccer.
Trying to take that next step, another chance to get a win at the national tournament. We'll talk about the men's squad. They're at 4-2, coming off a conference win as well, 1-0 with a victory over Freed-Hardeman. We'll come back and talk about the men's team with Coach Klein after this here on the Cougar Coaches Show on Mediacom Channel 22.
There's a lot to love about TiVo DVR service from Mediacom. Check it out.
A movie, a show, an actor. I just type it in and TiVo finds it wherever it is. I can even search the web.
YouTube, Spotify, Netflix, and more right on my TV.
Plus, with TiVo, I can set a recording from anywhere.
And download my recorded shows to watch on the go.
Complete your Mediacom entertainment package with TiVo DVR and save with free installation. Call 888-SIMPLIFY now.
Back talking soccer on the Cougar Coaches Show here with the head coach of the Cougar soccer teams, the women and the men. The women at 4-1 and 1-0 in conference. The men 4-2 and also 1-0 in conference. And let's start with that conference matchup. Another road trip down to Freed-Hardeman with the guys, obviously, and a 2-0 outcome. Powers and Cox with the goals. Talk about the performance for the Cougars.
Best performance of the year by far, and coming off, the weakest 30 minutes that maybe we've seen in Cougar history. 5 goals in 30 minutes to Missouri Valley. We had to address that, and it was addressed, and I think the boys responded extremely well down in Tennessee. Played some outstanding soccer, played very energetic soccer. We pressured the opponent and just gave them very little time on the ball, and we moved the ball extremely well. So 2-0 result. We were excited to get the shutout. Another goal or two was probably there to be had, but 2-0 is a great start to our conference play.
Yeah, get the all-important W in the conference win column there. McTurk in goal in that contest. Talk about how Ian played.
Pretty solid. Wasn't tested a whole lot in the match, but he's very confident back there. He's a talker, very, very good with his feet, and I think he kept things organized. I think he gets the opportunity to go against William Woods this Thursday. So he's done well. It's been Daniel Ainsworth and Ian back and forth, and and then still Alex Knoll is looking for his opportunity. So I think the three keepers are pushing themselves, and at least this week it's going to be Ian's opportunity. Is
that competition the number one spot technically kind of up in flux? Is it a week-to-week thing, game-to-game, matchups depending on it?
I think it is a game-to-game. It's who's the most inspired, who's making the best effort in training, and of course, if you get comfortable with somebody, you win a few games. That's just the nature of the position. There can only be one person in the net. So I think the boys understand that, and they're all positive, and they're just pushing each other.
And let's talk about the guys finding the net. That was a question similar to your women's team. Who was going to find the net with some of the offense that graduated and is no longer here? Talk about some of the guys that are starting to do that a little bit. Cox is one as a sophomore that found the net.
Well, Carter scored a great goal the other night. I mean, just sheer determination, great run through the defense, and he got a great ball from Eden Campara. And I think that's what Carter brings you, just blue collar, hard work, tremendous speed. And he got to the spot he needed to be. Hasn't seen the field a whole lot, but is dangerous when he does it. Nick's was a penalty kick, but wow, what a special game he had in Tennessee, like no midfielder we've seen at Columbia College in recent years. I mean, he was outstanding, finding the ball, moving the ball from side to side, playing balls in the corners. He's dangerous, shooting the ball from 25 to 30 yards. So he had a spectacular night, and we're looking for him to do some great things as the season moves forward. Scored a great goal early in the year against Avila. That was from 25 to 30 yards out. So he's a great ball striker. Vadim Koyakov had a goal in every match until he broke his wrist, and now we're trying to just figure out what it's going to take to get him back in the mix. It looks like he's going to be available for Thursday night's game. And then the new boy, Mitch Conning, arrived late from Iowa Central. He scored a couple really nice goals, important goals for us in some of these early matches. So I do think that there are goals to be found from a variety of areas, and we look forward to each of those guys stepping up and making some big things happen.
And with William Woods and Columbia College, just like we said with the women's team, and whatever the sport is here, the matchup is always a big one, a familiar one between the green and the blue on the field tomorrow night.
Yeah, big soccer game. William Woods has already tied Park in the conference. Coach Nathan Mason does a great job over there, and it's a huge rivalry. And those guys will come in prepared. I think we're going to see a nice crowd. Here on campus midweek. I hope that we get a great student turnout. I know Woods will bring people, and so it should be a fun environment.
I know you don't want to go back to it, but you did allude to the 5 goals in 30 minutes in the second half at number 7 Missouri Valley. You guys played 45 minutes, clean sheet, no goals, nothing, played well. Daniel Endrith had some big saves in the end of the first half to keep them off the board. And then what exactly happened in that second half?
I think we made it to almost 60 minutes in, still 0-0, and I'm still believing we're going to win that soccer game. And I think the one goal just broke us. They really play a good style of soccer. I think our guys chased a little bit, and we're tired. And I think we were playing without Vadim, who had just injured himself in the game before. I think Mitch Conning, the other boy who'd scored a couple goals and appears to be going to be a dangerous player for us. He was playing on an injured quad, and we just weren't threatening them much. They scored a goal. They scored the second one, and I think they kind of broke our backs. And but you know, like I said to those guys, in the 16 years I've been here, we haven't lost a game 5-0. We lost one 6-0, but we hadn't lost one 5-0.
You didn't have to volunteer that. You could have just left. We never lost 5-0.
Well, no, I was always so proud, you know, of how we'd done this, and you know, generally we're very organized defensively, and things just broke down. Fundamentally, we didn't play sound defense. We didn't really pressure them. We didn't play with a lot of energy, and it's certainly a 30 minutes we'd like to forget. But I think it helps to go back and watch that and remember how poorly we played and what a great energy level Missouri Valley brought to the field. So I think, you know, hopefully we can take that as a learning experience, and it's going to pay off as we continue through conference here.
Looking ahead with the conference, and then a familiar face, Ottawa coming to town with John Deshaies' team for the Family Day event on the 26th here for the homecoming. Talk about what that matchup's going to be like.
Yeah, Ottawa, you know, will be a strong opponent. They're much improved this year over last year. A lot of new faces in their lineup, and you know, with it being homecoming, I think we're going to be extremely excited to perform in front of. And then the Hall of Fame group is showing up. That, you know, we should have a nice crowd on that day, and I think it's going to be a great matchup that day.
You know, the 1999 team going into the Columbia College Hall of Fame, the Athletic Hall of Fame, that weekend. Well, I asked the same question as far as the women are concerned. The men's mission right now, what is the number one thing this team has to do to get better?
You know, I think play with a lot more energy than maybe we've been accustomed to playing in the last year and a half. You know, I think we've not been a very high-pressure team. We've been organized, make it difficult to get through. But I think we just need to play, you know, a little more inspired soccer, a little more energetic. We need to take our chances in the offensive half. I don't think the men are getting quite enough shots. You know, we're attacking, we're possessing at times, but not taking enough chances. And I think that's going to be it. And I think those boys are here. You know, there are goal scorers in this mix, and I think they just got to, you know, develop and continue to build their confidence in going to goal and taking quality chances.
And who are a couple of the players that have surprised you here at the 6-7 match mark? That you knew they had the talent to do it, but they've shown through.
You know, I think Nick Powers is the big standout, you know, in the new group. He's just really, you know, and he was at Woods a couple years ago and then transferred to St. Charles, and we're very fortunate to have him in the program. I think he's going to be a leader. Vadim was having just a great year, you know, I think being dangerous consistently, and, you know, we certainly missed him the last game or two, and looking forward to get him back in the mix. So, and now we've moved Akil back to center back, Akil Noel, and I think it's a terrific spot for him. And he came back into camp, you know, much more physically mature, you know, put on a little muscle, a little weight over the summer, and I think it's a great spot for him, and he's really performed well in that center back role for us. 1-0
in the conference, but many more conference matches to come before we sit down and talk soccer again next. Good luck the rest of the way for both the women and the men's team, and again, that schedule up online at ColumbiaCougars.com. Several home matches here in the month of October. Coach, good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, Cosmo.
All right, Coach John Klein, the Columbia Cougars soccer squad. Again, the 1999 team going into the Hall of Fame, and then that Family Day homecoming game on the 26th. Another great opportunity to come out and watch the Cougars play on the new turf at our Marvin Owens. Thanks for watching Cougar Coaches Show here on Mediacom Channel 22.